Okay, today we are going to start with a new feature that is introduced in Fabric, which is nothing but SQL databases. And in today's session, I'll walk you guys through what is an SQL database and what is a SQL endpoint and what is the difference between these two and how exactly these both come together and support the analytics and reporting. And at the end of the session, we'll also have a live demo in which I'll be showing the difference between both of them and how it reflects in Power BI report too. So before we jump immediately into SQL database, I just want you guys to refresh, on what is Microsoft Fabric. And Fabric is something which has come into the market from last 2 years, and it is a space where everything is unified platform. It's on cloud. First thing, some of us might be working on clients projects which we need VM. We don't need to install it. It's on cloud. You go to a Google and you say app.powerbi service, and there is your Fabric. And Microsoft Fabric also brings it is a unified platform, like it brings all the elements into a single platform. You are a data engineer, Fabric is has it. You are a data scientist, Fabric has it. You are a data analyst, Power BI reporter, everything Fabric has it. You want AI ML, Fabric has it. So Fabric is such a thing. Okay, if you want the things to be in real time, like let's say Sensex, which runs on real time, you want in the dashboard to be updating on a real time, you have it also. It's called real time intelligence. So everything combined into a single platform, which is Microsoft Fabric, and the whole data inside lives in the OneDrive. OneDrive is nothing but OneLake, sorry. OneLake is nothing but it's your OneDrive, like where you dump all your files, right? In the same way in Fabric, we dump all the data into OneLake, and uh, the beauty of this is the whole data is stored in Delta Parquet form. So whichever element or component you're using, data is ready. Like for Lakehouse, for example, if we take Lakehouse, can read the data of structured, unstructured, semi-structured. And if you want to pull the data into warehouse, its warehouse is nothing but our databases. So it has the structured data. In the same way, Power BI can also pull the data. So everything, you don't need a copy of data anywhere. Everything lies in a Delta Parquet from inside the OneLake. So moving on to what is SQL DB in Fabric. Before the SQL DB came into existence, we did have SQL endpoint in which we were not able to do any kind of a few operations such as the inserting the data, creating the data, manipulating the data. All you can do is like whatever the data is already available, you are only able to query the data. And that then what Fabric did is they wanted to bring something into, there might be a few people, data engineers, who doesn't want to always pull or ingest data somewhere and pull it into here, and some might need a data where you can immediately create inside Fabric and send it to reporting. So that is when Fabric has bought this option out, which is SQL databases, which is similar to your SSMS. Whatever you do in your SSMS, you can do it in your SQL DB. And another thing is that it's it's your SQL. You If you in like it's T-SQL. If you know SQL, be it Oracle SQL, be it T-SQL, be it KQL, it's just the syntax changes. So if you know the basic SQL, you can write queries in everything. It primarily interacts with your lake houses. It interacts with your warehouses. It It is just a logical layer where all your data, which is used for the transactional purposes, can be created inside it, that SQL database. So the speciality of these SQL databases are mainly, it supports all the read, update, delete, creating everything inside it. And I would say like the typical use cases around this is, for example, if I'm working on a, let's say, sales, my company is a product-based company and I want to log a few sales. I don't want to wait till the data team does it. I can create a table inside it and I can pull the data immediately. That is one of the use case we can do, where we can it operates full crude operations, create, update, delete, whatever you want, you can do it. And data, the data which we create inside it also automatically stores in OneLake. So what we can do is, if we need it for some other purpose, not only just for the particular report, if we need it for a different report also, like we can use this data which is pulled inside this. It is practically nothing but your SSMS or your Azure SQL database. So it is like you can ingest the data either through the notebooks, pipelines, uh, even with the, I would say, data factory, which is nothing but an online SQL query. You can even ingest data through it also. So coming to the SQL endpoint, which I have told you before, SQL endpoint, what it used to do before, it's that even the SQL endpoint here also comes with the same SQL, and the SQL endpoint before, it just used to read the data. We were not able to do any manipulation over the data. It's actually a read-only analytic layer, the SQL endpoint, and it sits on the top of Lakehouse or your warehouses. And you can think this SQL analytic points as an, you can, let's say, analytical layer. That's it. Nothing else more than that. So while SQL database is built for more of transactional operations, SQL analytics endpoint is designed for the analytics queries, scanning and aggregating the data on a large base. Like, let's say if my table has, like, for example, this one table which I want is having 319 GB of data, and my Power BI took forever to, like, load the data. So what we did was, like, I was able to apply the query over in the analytics endpoint and filter it the data and pull it. So basically, it's just an analytic layer, nothing else than that. Its key properties are like, it just reads the data. You can connect it via SQL tools, Power BI, or your notebooks. It automatically maps your data inside your OneLake, and it also provides same experience as T-SQL. So, like, this is the beauty. If you know SQL, you can use your both SQL analytics endpoint as well as SQL database also. Uh, so let me show you a demo which I wanted to show. So this is my Fabric workspace. And if we go here on a new item, and if we search for an SQL database, you have your SQL database. You can name it something, anything, SQL DB. Okay, so as you can see, this is the SQL DB, and whatever data you store here goes into your OneLake, and if you click here, here is the part where you can see and change it from SQL database to an SQL and analytics endpoint, and you can bring the data. You can either analyze your sample data, you can bring it through your Gen 2, you can bring it to your pipeline, and it has many options here from where you can bring the data. And apart from that, you whatever queries you are writing, you can connect it with your SQL server also from here. So let me, instead of pulling some data, let me just write a query. Let me just create a dummy data. So it's nothing but a basic create table function. I'm writing it here to create a table and then just insert a random lines into it. And let's just say select star from your sales orders. Right now you can see we have four rows which I have inserted. But what if I wanted to, see it in my SQL endpoint? How would I do that? I'll just replicate this tab so that I can show you simultaneously. And change it to the SQL Analytics endpoint. And as you can see here, right now we don't have any data. Let me refresh it. And whatever I created inside the SQL database over here, it automatically reflects here in the SQL Analytics endpoint. Let us pull this also here to see if the same data is coming. As you can see, the data is reflecting here also. But what if the SQL database didn't exist? And if this is my table, Excel table, which I have, and if I wanted to, let's say, update something, uh, I just randomly wanted to update some data which has come up. And if I write this query over here, I just wanted, it's like 2,500 for the David. If I wanted to update it 2,600, and if I run it, it says that DML languages is not supported inside this. So if I want to do this again, I need to go to a data engineer team, ask them to run the commands and bring the data into the OneLake. So now with SQL DB, we don't need it. You can just go here and you can just write inside the SQL DB, ask it to so it is updated. Let's check this. And you can see it is updated to 2,600 immediately. Let's see if it is replicating the same inside even the SQL endpoint also. So I'll just refresh it. Let's refresh it. You can see it's immediately refreshed and it shows like 2,600 over here also. Like, let's say, what if I already did create a Power BI report and I did make a change over here, but is it reflecting it or not? I'll just show a example of that also. This is nothing but here, if we click a semantic model, it is nothing but a semantic model which we have inside the Power BI is nothing but data modeling. And in coming to the semantic model, I guess like most of us know, semantic models are like two types. One is the basic semantic model, which comes, with the data itself, and something. The second one is like the custom semantic model, where if we don't want to, use a certain tables, we can remove those tables from the modeling also. So from here, let me create a new report. Let, let's just say customer name and as you can see that the 2600 has been updated here, but we did create this report once, we have updated it. Let me save this and show you if the model is. Okay, now that since we have saved it, what if I go here and let's say I delete this from here. I'm deleting the order 3 of Charlie, and here we can see we have Charlie over here. Let me run this query. Let go here and run from here. So the order ID with 3 has been deleted here. Let's go and check in our SQL endpoint also. One thing is that once you uh, do any manipulation in SQL database, make sure you're refreshing it in your SQL endpoint also, so that it takes like 30 seconds to 1 minute to refresh it and provide you the output. It is done here also. Let's go and like refresh our report. You can see from the report also the row has been removed. So basically what is happening here is we don't need any data engineer support here. If you're someone who knows SQL, if you're someone who have this data coming up, or if you have some reports where you want to add additional data instead of waiting for your data engineer to come and work on it and give it for you back, waiting on the data model to happen, you can easily go here and you can create your own table and then connect it with pull it into your model using the custom semantic model. Just derive this table into the existing custom model, and there you go, you have your table here, and whatever transactions you want to do, you can do all those over here. So as I told you, the main difference between the SQL database and SQL endpoint is nothing but the SQL databases are basically has select, insert, update, and delete in the SQL database, but in the endpoint, you can only select the data and do some manipulations over the data, but you can't insert, update, or delete your data inside your analytics endpoint. And SQL database is mostly for your transactional data purposes, for and for endpoint, it is mostly for purpose. Just whatever data you're having, you're querying on top of that data. And coming to a case, as I have already told you, if you want to make add a certain.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Supraja, sorry, you are on mute.
Am I audible now?
Yes.
Okay. Uh, was the demo audible?
Yes, yes. Demo was audible. Just now only we don't hear that voice. Now it's clear.
Okay. So, when it comes to it's like SQL database is something where, we have the um, transactional part, and SQL endpoint is where we do the analytics over the data which is already present. And it's SQL databases are something where everything is supported, and SQL endpoint is just read only. And it is best used for operation workloads and entering the data. For SQL endpoint, it's just analytics and using it on the purpose of reporting. So to summarize, the database is best when you need, a structured data management with transactions, and SQL endpoint is best when you need a fast analytics querying for the reporting and dashboarding. That the database feeds on your system while the endpoint feeds on your insights. I know this is a very small, topic, because we don't have a lot of things to explain, because it is just the transaction level versus the logical level. So yeah, if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask your questions.
Yeah, hi. Thank you, Supraja. Thanks for this. So there is a question from chat. What is the difference between standalone Power BI service and Power BI in Fabric?
Uh, Standalone, I don't think there's much of a difference between these two. But standalone is, are you if you're talking about your desktop, inside the desktop you can do your Power Query, you can, but right now the Power Query option is still not available inside the Fabric in the Power BI yet. But uh, some updates were released, and there might be soon the Power Query inside the Fabric also for the. But right now you can use the Power Query part if you're pulling the data into, Fabric using the data factory.
Okay, thank you. Team, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Please raise your hand or else please unmute yourself. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. There is a question from
Yeah.
Krish. What kind of, just let me read. Uh, Krish, what kind of security exists to connect SQL endpoint?
To connect with the SQL endpoint, it's just you need your lake house first, or your warehouse. Once you build your lake house or warehouse, inside that you can start using your SQL endpoint. You don't need a different kind of security for it. Even if you're on trial version, you can create your SQL lake house or warehouse. Once you create it, and you go into dump your data into a warehouse and through lake house, and then you can start using your SQL endpoint.
Thanks, Supraja, for that. So the next question from Naresh, can we do ETL work on Fabric?
Yes, we can do ETL work on Fabric using either notebooks, or you can, if you're not familiar with any coding languages, there is online Power Query, which is inside your data factory. You can use it to pull the data. It is nothing but data gen flow too.
Thank you. The next question from Appanna, do we need VNet gateways if data is in Azure SQL?
So, regarding this VNet gateway, you need VNet gateway if your data is living on an on-premise data. If your data is on your local machine, lying in your, for example, like MySQL workbench lies in your local machine, it doesn't have a cloud. So, if and suppose if your data is lying in your local machine, that is when you would need a VNet data gateway. If your data is lying in any cloud service, you don't need it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Hi, Supraja. Sorry, can I have one more question? It's
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not Prabhakar. I'm Sunita. I'm using my husband's laptop.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure, sure.
So my question is, as you said, we need gateways only when it is on-prem. So I think that is on-prem data gateways, and somewhere I saw like VNet gateways is some
Yeah.
cloud data sources. So when do we need this VNet gateways? Because Azure SQL is also considered as in cloud data source, right?
VNet, for example, I'll give it because I'm right now working on this use case where we needed a VNet gateway. That is when my SQL workbench is inside a VM, and inside, if it's on my local machine, it would have worked in a different way. It would have worked with my personal gateway also, but since it is lying inside my VM, we had to install a VNet gateway and then pull the data inside it.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Supraja, so much.
Yeah, thank you, Vivek. Thanks for your answer. VNet gateways are required. You can make them explicitly for private options. Yeah, thank you. So, team, any questions? Please feel free to ask here. Uh, so, the next question from Naman. Uh, he is asking, can we use SQL database in Python notebooks with magic command?
Uh, right now in notebooks, Python has been introduced. Before Python was not there, before there was Spark and Spark SQL. I still have not connected the SQL DB with the Python notebook inside the Fabric yet. I'll look into it and I'll get back to you. Do ping me on LinkedIn for the follow up on this.
Yeah, yeah. Supraja, can you please share your LinkedIn profile on the chat box so
Yeah,
they will
sure,
connect.
sure.
And the next, I am sharing one update from NDIC. So actually, Microsoft Fabric is planning to organize there is a program called Fabric Data Days from November 5th to December 15th. So as part of that Fabric database, NDIC is collaborated with the Microsoft Fabric, and we are going to organize 4 sessions in the next month. So it's on the DP700 certification. So actually we are planning on that on what days we need to conduct the sessions. The same time we are expecting, and I am finding the speakers. So I request everyone please attend the session. In that session we are going to guide you how you can guide the 100% DP700 exam certification voucher, as well as we will guide you, and we will help you to clear the exams in that upcoming next 4 sessions. This is a update I'm going to share from my side with all of you. So next, Fabric Data Days. Yes, 4th November. Yes, thanks, Vivek. It's starting on Fabric Data Days, and NDAC is also part of that data days. We are going to conduct the 4 sessions on the DP700 exam. Yeah, team, if you have any questions, you just feel free to ask.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I think we are good, Suparna. So just I am heading to quiz program. Hello everyone. Just you can scan this QR code on your mobile, or else you can directly touch just whoever attending on your mobile, right? Just you can click on this URL. Like you can able to see access this screen now. So just and register yourself, and then you can answer those questions. Like whoever comes first, then we will send some interesting goodies to you, and our team will contact you once you will get a first position.
form link shared in chat box also. Those are unable to scan the QR code, please click on the form link in the chat box.